Hello, everybody from Smith School of Business. My name is Jen McNeely. I'm so happy that you have joined us for this webinar. Today I am very excited because I'm not doing the webinar all on my own. I am with my wonderful colleague, Sabrina Davis, who is one of the associate directors within our Career Advancement Center here at Smith School of Business. Sabrina is also a career education and coaching. She helps support the students. You guys are going to hear from her in a few slides, and I am so excited that you're going to be hearing from her. A few housekeeping items, just so that you're aware, we are recording this webinar today. And so in case you need to drop off or in case we say something and you want to hear it again, you will be getting a recording probably within the next couple days. And so again, my name is Jen McNeely. I'm the assistant director here for the Masters of International Business program at Smith School of Business. Anybody that doesn't know where Smith is located, we're located in Kingston, Ontario, so 2 hours from Toronto, about 3 hours from Montreal, 2 hours from Ottawa. We are centrally located. We're right on Lake Ontario, so it's a beautiful spot to do your graduate education. So today I get to talk to you about the Masters of International Business program that we offer here at Queen's and at Smith. I think it's one of the most unique programs that we do offer because there's so many different ways for students to complete the program, and you really get to personalize what the program is for you. And then, as well, as I said, I'm going to pass the hosting rights over to my wonderful colleague, Sabrina, so she can talk to you about the Career Advancement Center. What we always say for students to be successful in any of our programs is one, getting your degree at the end. So being successful academically, but then also securing a really great career when you're done the program. So as we can appreciate, you're investing some time and money into your education, and we want to ensure that you're landing a really good job once you're done the program. I'll talk a little bit about the admissions. We are still taking applications to start the program this coming August 25th. And we'll take any of your questions. So if you have questions throughout the webinar, feel free to put them into the question and answer tab that you'll see on your screens. Sabrina and I will be happy to answer any of your questions that you might have. So with that, I'm going to go right into what is the Masters of International Business program. We're considered to be an early career graduate program. So what does that mean? It means that we're a program for students that have already done an undergrad in business or in commerce, who don't necessarily have any work experience and who are wanting to really specialize in international business. And the reason I say specialize in international business is because the courses that we offer, so our core courses and even our electives that we offer throughout the program, have some sort of globalization, international business components to it. So when you're starting the program, some of the courses that you're going to be completing is leading global teams, global economy, global strategy. So all of our courses have some sort of global aspect, international aspect to it. The reason I say it's such a unique program is because you need to do an international exchange. So I'm going to go through some of the different pathways that students can complete the MIB program. One is a single degree where students are with us in the fall semester. They go away on an international exchange to one of our partner universities. Students get to select from about 65 partner universities for that exchange component. And then they're also doing consulting projects. So as you're going through the program, you are working in a core team. So you're developing your team skills as you're going through the program. You also are doing a consulting project for a company. So you're actually doing consulting work as you're going through the program. The other unique feature that we are able to offer this year is an internship for credit. So Sabrina and her team will work really closely with any of those applicants that are wanting to do an internship. We certainly aren't going to secure the internship for you. You would have to do that on your own. However, we will provide all the resources and tools for you to be able to secure that internship. I'll go into more of what all of those tracks look like in a couple slides. The other thing is we're team based. So as you're going through the program, you're not allowed to get rid of anybody that's on your core team. We do that purposefully so that you're developing team skills in a really safe environment. So if you're needing to have an uncomfortable conversation about somebody's time management or not preparing for presentations, we provide you with skills and tools to help you facilitate those conversations so that when you are out in your careers, it's an easier way for you to transition into your careers. So why study abroad? We think studying abroad, there's so many good aspects that come out of it. You're developing your cultural intelligence skills. You're managing ambiguity. So you get comfortable being with us at Smith, and then you go to a partner university and you get dropped into a whole new culture. What does that mean for you? What sort of personal and professional growth are you going to get out of it? It also allows you to develop your leadership skills. So getting out, working with different individuals from around the world, it helps you develop those leadership skills. And then it also makes you become self-aware of yourself and develop knowledge of who you truly are as a global citizen as you're going through the program. Here at Smith, we do a lot of case-based learning and team-based learning. Our professors are expecting students to come into the classroom, already read the cases, and instead of being more of a lecture style program, it's more having conversations in the classroom. I always like to say to students, it's like going into a little United Nations when you walk into the classroom here at Smith. So as you can appreciate, last year we welcomed 81 students. They represented 19 different nationalities. The conversations that are being done with the professors in the classroom are so unique because people are open to hearing from others. So, somebody that is from Germany may have an opinion about the case that they're in the midst of studying, and it could be different than one of your classmates who is from China, and then again somebody who's from Peru. Bringing all of that diversity and culture into the classroom and into those conversations is such a unique experience. And that's what we're hoping to develop with all of you coming into the Masters of International Business program. So the structures, this is where it gets really interesting, and I think it's just so unique. I would say we're probably the most unique program in Canada. One, for the fact that, again, you need to have an international exchange. And so this slide talks about anybody doing the programs without the internship component. So as you can see, for year one and year two, those are for our double degrees. So what does that mean? In 2 years' time, you could earn our Masters of International Business through Smith and then a Masters of Science from one of our partner universities. If you look at year one, the three partner universities, Inkai, Mannheim, and Bocconi, students actually start at the partner university. So even though you get recruited by us, you would start at the partner university. Your second year, you would be coming to Queen's and doing your Masters of International Business program. Year two, those are all the partner universities where your second year would be at the partner university. So your first year would be with us. For some of those double degrees too, you actually could select to do an exchange as well. So I think back on some of our alumni, we had a young gentleman who completed our program. He did the double degree with Essex. So his first semester was with us in Kingston. Then he decided to go to Brazil in the winter semester. And then he went on to Essex in France and spent a whole year in Paris and actually is now working in Paris. So the program is really unique in the fact that you can really tailor it to what you want it to be. And if you're an individual that is like, yeah, I want to go and work in Germany, there's going to be opportunities for you to do an exchange in Germany, find out about the culture in Germany, and maybe land a job. I always say with our marketing department, if they could make a map where our alumni plus our students can actually say where they are, we would light up the world with our current students and also with our alumni. Phase one, two, and three, that's our single degree option. So in 1 year, you would gain a Master's of International Business program. Again, you'd be with us in the fall semester. You would do an international exchange at one of our partner universities. And then for that third semester or the summer semester, you don't have to come back to Kingston, but that's where you're completing the consulting project. So the students that started with us last August, that's where they're all at within their MIB experiences. They're in the midst of completing their consulting project, getting ready to present in front of the company that they've been working with over the last 10 months. This structure is where the internship comes into play. And so you're probably wondering, where does the internship actually land if you're wanting to do a double or a single? So I'll start with the single degree. Instead of doing a 12-month program, so again, fall with us in Kingston, this phase two, that's where you would do the internship. So in the winter semester, you would actually go and work. It has to be a minimum of 10 weeks where you would be doing the internship. Again, we won't be handing out the internships, but we will be providing all the resources and tools that you need in order to secure an internship. Phase three, finishing that 901 consulting project. You can be anywhere in the world. And then phase four, it's actually goes from a 12-month program into a 16-month. So the following fall, you would go to one of our partner universities. In regards to all the double degrees, your internship fits in the summer semester between year one and year two, depending on which double degree you would be interested in. And so again, I find that the slide provides you with so much information in the fact that the program can be so unique and you can diversify what your story is. So as we can appreciate, you probably are just graduating with, maybe 300 students. How are you going to stand out in the crowd when it comes to looking for securing your career? And so this program allows you to have such unique and different stories, even with the people that you're in the classroom with. Just because you're a part of the single degree doesn't mean that your path and your story is going to look the same as somebody else that's completing the single degree. As I said earlier in this conversation, I am so excited to be introducing my wonderful colleague, Sabrina Davis. There are champions within the School of Business who want to see students be successful. Sabrina is one of those champions. We've worked really closely for several years together. It's not unusual for Sabrina to hear from alumni that, are 8 years out and all of a sudden want to pivot. And she's always open to having conversations and wanting to see the students be successful. So with that, I'm going to pass the mic over to Sabrina.
Thank you, Jen, and you honor me with your incredibly kind words. But it's true, everybody. It's actually true. Myself and the Career Advancement Center and all my teammates, we're really invested in your future. Of course, we need you to be invested in it, but we are really partners on this journey. And I just want to speak very briefly to what, Jen, can you pop back to that last slide that you just did? You were talking like the one that had the double, this one. Okay, some of you might be looking at that and thinking, oh my gosh, that is a tremendous amount of information. How do I make sense of it? You don't need to make sense of it yet. You need to think about, what do you want to get from your graduate studies and how do you want to separate yourself? And so what Jen was speaking to in terms of the uniqueness, we want you to figure out what part of this journey you want to engage in. And then we, as the Career Advancement Center, will partner with you in learning how to position that story, because there is something really quite special about the MIB program. And we want to make sure that you know how to tell that story in a compelling way so that you can separate yourself from the competition that's out there. Because you are going to, if you do a double degree and you get 2 degrees and you have an MSc in addition to your MIB, you probably are doing a thesis. Now you have research as part of your skill set. So what we want to draw out from you is, what does your pathway look like? And then let's grab the unique pieces so that they can become part of that compelling career narrative, which can really set you apart from everybody else. Sorry about the rewind, Jen. I just wanted to I just wanted to speak to that briefly. All right, let's hop into the next slide. So the Career Advancement Center, we are a team that is here to partner with you. And so much like Jen was talking about the internship, and she was saying, we're not going to get you the job. We're not, Carrie, our director, often says there's no magic drawer of jobs, and that is true. However, we want to make sure that you have a strong sense of self. What are your skills, your unique capabilities, and that you know how to position yourself in the market. So we are absolutely in the car with you. You're in the driver's seat, we are in the passenger seat, and we are along for the ride. And we might say, hey, what do you think about taking a right turn over here or a left turn over there? Ultimately, it's your journey. And so you may change your mind along the way, completely fine, but we are really your partners in this experience together. And it is a unique career journey. So it's a really nice segue into this slide. We've got Discover Build Launch on screen, and the reason I want to speak to that is to help everyone to understand that we have a very intentional career management framework, a strategic framework, and that is how we develop all of our curriculum and timing. And so we call it Discover Build Launch. And you're going to walk away from this webinar and not remember that, and that's completely fine. But what I want you to take away is that we have mapped what that career plan can look like into these different phases so that you can figure out how you want to navigate your journey. So, Discover is about self assessments, self discovery, perhaps learning new things about yourself or underscoring things that you already know. You're going to start talking about that personal brand and how you want to position yourself in the market. And you're definitely going to do some exploration around careers so that you can figure out, well, I know all these things about myself. What kind of careers might that be a good match for? And it's not to say that you must do that. We're giving you information so that you can make some informed choices as it relates to your career. Once we get through that discover phase, we move into build. That's building out your capabilities. That could be tactical things like what we all think of careers, resume, cover letter, LinkedIn. Yes, those are important components. There's also getting interview ready. We have all kinds of tools. We also have coaches that you can work with one-on-one to do some mock interviews and other things. You're building out your network, you're building professional relationships so that when it does come time for that job search, that you are in a strong position, that you're prepared, you know what the skills are that are going to be marketable depending on what you're targeting, and that you've got all your documentation, that your application ready, and that you're ready to jump into interviews and build some of those relationships so you can really set yourself apart. We then move into the launch phase, which is exactly what it sounds like, launching your career. So having a very specific job search strategy that is unique to your journey. Many times our students will bring their offer letters to us so we can help them in the negotiation process to make sure that they're getting the best possible compensation package. And for many students, they may have never negotiated a contract in Canada. So we can offer some advice and maybe some opportunities where they might work on whether it's vacation time, salary, etc. Now, this looks linear, doesn't it? You go discover, you go build, you go launch, off you go into your career. It looks linear, but it's not. And the reason for that is because each of you bring different things to the program. Each of you might be sitting there thinking, I know exactly what I want. Maybe I want consulting. Maybe I want marketing. Great. But what if you take a course or you have a conversation or you attend an event and then say, oh my goodness, I hadn't thought about tech. I'm just using arbitrary examples. Well, you might have moved into build thinking about consulting and you learn something about yourself or about your environment and say, wait a minute, I want to explore something new. And you bounce back to discover. So, as much as it looks linear, it is almost circular to a certain extent in that you get to decide how quickly or slowly you go through this. The other thing to remember is that if you are a single or a double degree student, your timeline in terms of when you're going to be wanting to acquire your postgraduate job is going to be very different. So the pacing that you go through this will also be different. We offer one-on-one coaching. We have a very large coaching team that has functional expertise in industry as well as being certified coaches. So we really look at you as a whole person to understand who you are, where you're at in your journey, and then we figure out what we can help you with in terms of what does that plan look like going forward. As an MIB student, you will have the opportunity to attend multiple corporate and alumni events, including a signature event that we do just for MIBs in Toronto, which is a very exciting day. We have a tremendous number of online resources, which includes a self-directed course that will accompany your studies, which is called Career Management Foundations. This is a course that we designed in-house That is asynchronous learning. And then we bring you into live workshops and master classes so we can really lock in that learning. And so all of this to say, you have a lot of resources. You have many people with tremendous expertise who are here to help you to navigate your career. And the slide we have on screen now is about how one executes that strategy. And so within the Career Advancement Center, I don't need to show you an org chart, but I can describe for you, we have basically have two parts of the team. One is our corporate relations team, which works with our corporate partners. They're the ones who bring the jobs, the opportunities, and manage the events for us. And then we have the coaching team, which you as students would be engaging with. But this slide talks about skills. The Graduate Management Admissions Council, who owns the GMAT, right? Well, many people know about the GMAT. We actually purchase a report every year where they query over 900, sometimes up to 1,000 companies to get a sense of what are the same or what are the emerging or changing skills that the market is looking for. And we want to make sure that you as students are equipped with that. So we share this information that you can see on screen. And I know that it's kind of small, but if you look to the right, the green, you can see the arrows going up and down. It's telling you what has moved in the list, if it's gone up a number of points. And so it's not even slightly surprising that AI and technology are the ones that are really on the move, given the environment right now. And so we want to make sure that we equip you to be able to navigate well in whatever space you're picking, but that you can leverage the skills that are important. So this is one data set. But then you may remember I just spoke about our corporate relations team. They're working with our employers all the time to understand, in addition to this generalized, what specific skill sets or talents are they looking for? They in turn share that with us, and then we make sure that our students understand what are they looking for. And if you have aspirations for a certain career, and through our coaching, we recognize that maybe there's a bit of a gap. We can talk about how you can close that gap. So it's not just tactical resume cover letter. It's really about discovering you, figuring out what you want, and then figuring out what does the plan look like to get you there. And while we can't guarantee an outcome, our students have amazing outcomes. And I love that Jen talked about the map and lighting up the world. I'm pretty sure that I live vicariously through the students because they get to experience so many different locations and educational experiences and meet new people. And so that is something that is incredibly unique. That is a really unique part of your journey that you get to share as part of your career story. And it can be a differentiator in the market. Jen, can we hop to the next slide, please? Thank you. So this is the teeny tiniest sample of some of the corporate partners that we work with. And I'm willing to bet that everyone on this call can identify or recognize at least one partner out there. This is small. We work with, I can't even count how many, and they are very well-known brands. And that's not to say that if you don't want to work with a large brand that you have to. We also have niche firms and smaller organizations and startups. And so as you get clear on what and who and where you're targeting, we can ensure that you understand where you could be pointing your attention, who you could be talking to, or what resources you can leverage to make sure that you can position yourself well. If we look on the right-hand side, oh, sorry, Jen, I just want to talk about that graph. Can you pop back for 1 second? Thank you. So when we look at the industries, we collect a tremendous amount of data because we want to know what our students are doing and what is the return on your investment for graduate studies at Smith. And so we collect a tremendous amount of data. It is a little bit of an eye chart. We apologize for that. But the story here is you can see over the years from 2020 up to and including 2022 where students have landed. So you can see that consulting has a large amount, consumer goods, financial services, marketing, etc. And so we really want you to understand that there's a lot of diverse opportunities out there. And oftentimes students come to business school and say, well, I want to be a consultant or I want to be in finance. That's great if that's what you think coming in. My invitation to you is to be open to other opportunities as you further discover yourself and as you get integrated with your studies and learning from other people, because you might just change your mind. So keep your options open. Thanks, Jen. Good. All right. So most people come to graduate studies because they want something fabulous to happen on the other side as it relates to their job. And so, as I mentioned, we collect a tremendous amount of information because we want our potential students and our current students to make informed choices. This is just some data that's actually available on our Smith website. If you're on there and looking, you'll notice it's the same information. We want you to understand that there are different locations. And while you look at that first pie chart and you see that there's a lot that land in Canada, there are lots of people that land in Europe and elsewhere. And so the tools that we support you with are whatever job search it might be. So whether it's somewhere in Canada, maybe it's Toronto, maybe it's not, maybe it's Germany, maybe it's Austria. We want to make sure that you understand what tools and who you can talk to in those locations to support that. And my favorite graph is the one on the right with all the pretty rainbow colors, because look at the diversity in where our students land in terms of industry. It's incredible. And so, while average salary is a wonderful thing to know, I think what's really important is how many students have an offer within 3 months of graduation. That's an important metric, because if you're considering graduate studies and the investment that you're going to make in your time and your finances, you want to have an idea about what that could look like. And so, we will continue to collect data and report on that year over year. In fact, we're finalizing some data right now because we want to make sure that you understand that this is an excellent investment and that there's a high probability you're going to get something fabulous on the other side of it by way of your academic studies, the partnership and leadership from the Career Advancement Center, and positioning yourself well in the market. Okay, I think that's it for my slides, Jen, I think.
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you so much, Sabrina. Yeah, and to what Sabrina was saying, it's not unusual for students to come and talk to Sabrina and her team or the program office to be like, do you have any connections with anybody in Munich? Do you have any connections with anybody in Sydney, Australia? And I have no problem going through all of the connections that I have on LinkedIn to help with that, with those introductions. And we always say it to the students, it's not what you know, it's who you know. And to Sabrina's point in regards to the MIB community, it's a unique community. The class always comes together, and I think part of it is because you're coming in with wanting to learn from different people, from different cultures, and you just have this open-mindedness, and it's pretty unique. So this is a good segue into the student experience piece. As you probably appreciate, the program office, our colleagues within the Career Advancement Center, the colleagues within the Center for International Management, we get integrated into your student experience. We want to ensure that what you're investing yourself into is what you want. So we work very closely with the Student Exec Council. They get, it's a 4-member council that gets voted in by your classmates, and we do incredible things. So to what Sabrina was saying, there's the Toronto Trek where we take everybody up to Toronto to our Toronto facility. We do international potlucks. We do cultural diverse, like cultural nights where we get to embrace everybody's diversity and their culture. Trick-or-treating, for some students, trick-or-treating, they don't know what trick-or-treating is for Halloween. So we encourage people to dress up in costumes. We work with a lot of our other departments here at Smith where students can go around and get candy from other offices. And so the student experience piece is sort of that work hard, play hard. You're working hard in the classroom, but you also get to play hard outside of the classroom. During program launch, we take students canoeing and kayaking. We take them on a boat cruise with the Thousand Islands because we want you to embrace your time while you're here in Kingston, because it's an incredible campus, but it's also an incredible city, which we rely heavily on for the students to be here. So the personal support, no matter what program you do within Smith, I would say this is part of our secret sauce that we do in regards to ensuring that what you need as an individual is what you're actually going to get. So there's academic advising that you can have. There's Sabrina and her team within the Career Advancement Center. It's all on one-on-one advising that is provided to you, even when it comes to trying to figure out What double degree should I do? What exchange destination should I go to? Our colleagues within the Center for International Management, again, does one-on-one advising for all students. Because if you're an individual and you're really interested in luxury brand management, well, there's going to be partner universities that we would suggest for you to go to. If you're an individual that's really focused on finance, again, different partner universities that we would tell you to look at. And then of course we also give you advice on the cost of living of the different cities that you can go on exchange. So you may be wondering, all right, how do I get started? My application, how do I stand out from the crowd? And that brings me to admissions. So again, we are a program that are looking for students who have done a commerce program or a business program. That being said, even if you haven't completed a business program, we will still look at your application. You would have to write the GMAT, and then you would also have to show that you have an introduction to marketing, introduction to accounting, an introduction to finance, and then a macroeconomics course. Uh, you would have to provide two references. The references don't have to be professional references. That being said, if you've done an internship, we would be happy to receive a reference from the internship or a work experience, plus an academic reference from a professor that you've worked really closely with. The application process is done all online. Again, that personal touch, once you submit a copy of your CV and cover letter, you'll actually get introduced to an application advisor. The application advisors will make sure that you're meeting all of the requirements along the way. And if there's any document that is missing from your file, that application advisor will work with you to ensure that the documents get submitted on time. Personal statement of experience. So what we're looking for individuals who want to have that diverse experience within the classroom. So maybe you did an undergrad exchange and now you're wanting more exposure to a different part of the world. Maybe you've been part of case competitions. Maybe you were part of a student exec council in your undergrad. All of those little bits of information makes you unique, and it provides a bit of a story for people that are on the admissions committee in regards to who you are. There's a video essay. The video essay is three random questions. Two you can verbally put in your answer. One is a written answer. And then, of course, there is the interview with somebody from the admissions committee. Anybody that's ever done an interview with me, I always start those conversations with, let's just have a conversation. I can ask you questions, you can ask us questions, because again, we want to ensure that the program is the right fit for you. So with that, it's at the end of our formal presentation. Again, should you have any questions or answers, feel free to put them in the question and answer tab. We are happy to answer any of your questions. And we hope that you will be joining us in August for the Masters of International Business program.